two new upgrades, Nebula capacity and Nebula's traction power. And we can purchase both of these upgrades at various levels to create more Nebulas and have all this. It's cool. Right there. Today we are getting back to the series. So I've been away for a few days, so this allowed me to take my head off the project a little bit. And now I feel like I don't remember anything, so it's absolutely perfect. um, for this episode, I planned to make Nebula related CC upgrades, and that is what we're gonna do. Let's create a CC upgrade 4, so that's gonna be CCU04, and that will increase the max amount of Nebula we can buy. So that will be max Nebulas? Yes, that's fine. Max Nebulas.gd. Cool. So that's the bare minimum we need for an upgrade. And I do remember that we need to create things in there as well in the data. So let's create a new variable. So let's grab the virtual classes method in the abstract class. Okay. So yeah, I actually want this to have a max level, well, a max level of 3, so we can. My brain isn't braining. Max level of 3, so we can create, yeah, 4 nebulas at the end. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. And we need to get our init function. So we do want to load the level, so the level here is gonna be equal to game data. Okay, that's fine. Then we initialize the cost. What about... Okay, that's gonna be so random. Because I'm getting into this episode and I did absolutely zero math about the costs. So that's gonna be a base cost of 2 and a cost of 2 as well. Maybe 3. No, 2 would be good. Maybe we can create the unlock right away. So this will require to have unlocked nebulas. So here we're loading, and we are making it unlockable. Now we need to return a title. So here, title is going to be... Oh, I've got a new idea. It's going to be Nebula capacity. Yeah, exactly. Now the description is... we have an effect line and a cost line. Yeah. So let's have a simple description. So we do have a description, we do have a title. Seems great. Calculate cost. Right. So let's just rewind what happened. So the title is working exactly like the second upgrade because we do have several levels. The description, exactly the same, just changing the numbers, I guess. Here, just to be sure, yeah, we use the costs, right? Then the calculate cost. So here I have a fixed cost, which is totally random. -1 here for the level 3, since it's not meant to display up here. If we see a -1, that's a problem. Can afford, we just used a simple copy and paste, because nothing specific here. Level up. I did a few mistakes when changing, but it was corrected at the end. Yeah, we want to change the level in the data in here, and we want to be sure that we do calculate the cost, because here we were not calculating the cost, which was weird. I don't know when we called this method, calculate cost. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Maybe because the cost was constant. Isn't locked, we already did it. Disabled, we want to disable when the level is max level. That's fine. And I think we did all we have to do in there. So we can now create this upgrade in a handler. So the game knows there's a new upgrade to create. Let's go to our CCUpgrades handler and generate a new one. Right, so here we do have the upgrade showing, which is exactly what we want. But there is a little problem. We're actually running out of place in there, so we will have to change this view to be a scroll view. Right, so maybe we can do this and change this to a scroll view. So here we have our consciousness core view, and we have the CC upgrade in there. And that, we want to encapsulate this in a scroll container. So let's create a scroll container, which is going to be right above it, and have the CC upgrades in it. Now we have a problem. Yep, the scroll container, I want it to stretch, of course. Yeah, that was the problem. The horizontal scroll is never show, and we want a vertical scroll to always show. All right. And now we want this to expand above type. Yeah, it seems like good. So now we should be able to just run the game again. Oh, maybe we have, yes, no, no. What? Oh yes, that's normal. CC upgrade, yes. Now we can go in there and actually have a little scrolling. Perfect. So we do increase our nebula capacity, but at the moment we still can only create one nebula. So we need to make sure that this new nebula can be created when we increase the level of this upgrade. That happens in the Nebula handler, as far as I'm aware. HandlerNebulas. Here we do have a max nebulas count, alright? And we actually want to calculate the maximum amount of nebulas we have. So let's create a new method. Cool. So we have a simple method which uses the level of the upgrade to calculate the maximum amount of nebulas which can be created. What we need now is to call this method at the right moments. The right moments being when we load the game and when the upgrade is leveling up. So let's create the first one, which is when we load the game, which is on the ready, right? So here we do want to calculate nebula capacity, okay? But also we do want to have handler CCUpgrades, get the upgrades, find the 04 and leveled up, and we want to connect calculate nebula capacity. So here I just want to warn you, there's a little optimization we can do, which is checking that this upgrade is not max level and not connect when the upgrade is max level. That's something which can be done, I guess. Maybe later. Maybe later. At the moment, we will focus on having all the upgrades working simply. Alright, so here we have the capacity increasing. So I think we can just try it right away. Like this. And I can create two nebulas which are working on their own. Okay, okay. Now that we have made our first upgrade, we can now jump to making the second one, which is going to be CCO5. This upgrade will be attraction power, right? So it will increase the amount of stardust that can be attracted by a nebula. Okay, this will come with a benefit and a drawback. The benefit being increase of the max amount, an increase of the max amount of stardust we can attract second, and the drawback being that there's also an increase of amount of stardust that we can attract in a nebula. So since the minimum is increasing, it's forcing a nebula to consume more stardust, right? So let's go with making this upgrade. Right, so we already are missing on the actual level in the data object. So let's do this right now. in order to be able to finish this class peacefully. Actually, we need the exact same method here because the unlock condition is exactly the same. All right, here we have an error. I think it's an old one. Yep, I think it's an old one. So we are missing on the init function. So let's copy this one and adapt it for. We do now want to create it in the listing of the game so it can be added just like any other one. Okay, so we have listed this upgrade. So again, it should normally appear in the upgrade list when we unlock the nebulas, which is exactly the case. That's perfect. Let's get rid of this. So now we actually need to create the actual effects of this upgrade, which will come again in the HandlerNebulas. But for this one, there will be a little bit more. What the fuck is my hair doing? There will be a little bit more of interface work to do because we do have to change the sliders extremities. All right. So let's do this right away. It's actually the first time that we have an upgrade that has a power factor which is different than 1. So here is just how we do it. It's a simple multiplication. And just like the first one, we actually want to calculate this on load and create a connection with the upgrade to recalculate when the upgrade is leveling up. All right, that's cool. That's cool. I'm anticipating that there will be a little problem, which is that we will need for the interface, we will need to know when those values change so that the interface can change as well. So we will create a new signal, which is going to be attraction values updated. So this way we can emit this signal whenever we calculate, which is going to be here. What was the name already? Attraction values updated, and we want to emit this signal every time we calculate, right? So now we can go in the components for Nebulas and have the values updating whenever the calculation is made. So let's create this connection. Wow, everything comes into place. Looks like Godot is listening to me. So now I actually want to make a simple check, which is if the nebula attraction value is lower than the new minimum, then we want to force the nebula to have a value changed to the new minimum. Okay, this should actually do. There is one thing I want to add to our Nebula component, which is showing the value of the nebula somewhere. Maybe here, right next to the title. That could be interesting, that could be cool. Let's see if it's not too complicated to make. We have a problem. Because here we are indeed changing the slider, but we are not changing the labels on the sides. Oh gosh. This is gonna be so much longer than I thought. But anyway, we'll do it, so let's do it. So now that we have access to all the different values here, the different nodes, we do actually want to change the values to mimic any change in the values in there. Okay, I think we did everything we have to do in there. And we actually shouldn't need to add anything more. And it should be working. So that's quite a... I'm not so confident, I'm not gonna lie. So let's just check and advise. We do have the new upgrade, that's a good thing. It generates 3 at the moment. So we have a 1.5 here. So we could go in the upgrade, increase this, and now, yes, the attraction is 2 to 8. And we actually, oh gosh, it's, that's satisfying to watch, really. Except that, that thing, that's a little less satisfying, not gonna lie. But anyway, I shouldn't scream in the mic like this. Okay. Okay. That's actually quite a lot for today. Maybe not, actually, it's hard to tell because since I've completely wrecked my keyboard with my tea in the middle of the episode, I don't know if it was a long time or not. So I think that will be all we will do in this episode. Okay, so let's jump to the conclusion. Um, all right. I hope you like this episode and that you enjoyed making a few upgrades for the Nebulas. I definitely find and feel that these Nebulas are way better already with those 2 upgrades. Um, I have a few ideas for future episodes already because the upgrades are a bit messy. It could be cool to have the upgrades hiding when they're completed. You know, have a little checkbox to hide and show the completed upgrade. That could be interesting. And yeah, we still have a little bit of work to do with the Nebulas especially since we haven't touched the release value already at the moment yet. So yeah, I see you in the next episode, and take care.